Hey folks, Aaron here, and as you can see, I'm not shooting this after a run, nor am I shooting this from my office, or from my garage, or from my deck, or any of the other places that I usually shoot video. No, instead, I'm shooting this from a Holiday Inn Express located in scenic some small town in Pennsylvania, and because I'm on a business trip. So that actually brings up some interesting reflections. So I've been in software development, well, game development for 14 years, and then software development for the last 3 years. And so that makes for a total of a 17-year career. It's the first business trip I've ever actually been on. Now you can say, okay, but technically, Aaron, you got to go to PAX representing WB Games. Okay, technically, yes, I did. But that was when I lived in Seattle, and if I wanted to stay at a hotel, when I was repping WB at PAX, that was on my own dime. Same for any other event I went to. Technically, Microsoft sent me to a conference once, but it was a Microsoft conference in Seattle. So I slept in my own bed every night. Point is, 17 years. First business trip that the company is paid for, that whatever company I've worked for is paid for. And it's kind of interesting to think about. I mean, so I was at when I was at Nintendo, I mean, yeah, obviously, they weren't going to send me anywhere. I was a low-level grunt. You know, entry-level QAs, controller monkeys. You don't send controller monkeys anywhere because controller monkeys are replaceable, like tires. And was it Microsoft as a contractor the first time? Well, you don't send contractors anywhere either because contractors are replaceable and you don't send contractors places. I was at Monolith for a good while. Then they didn't send me anywhere because here's the thing about game development, okay? Go watch some videos from IGN or Marooners Rock, or whatever your favorite gaming website is, other than Kotaku because they're internet herpes. But go watch videos of some interviews from some gaming conference. E3, Gamescom, PAX, any PAX, whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is, notice who gets interviewed for the game. You'll see the producer, maybe an associate producer if the producer couldn't make it, lead writer, lead artist, lead designer, maybe a lead programmer, but rarely. But by and large, you're going to see producer, artist, writer, designer when you're seeing videos for AAA developed games. You get down to indie games, it's kind of a different story a lot of times. When you have a 5-man team, maybe everybody goes to a show and you do actually get to talk to everyone. But when you're talking about AAA games, producer, writer, designer, those are the folks who go to the conventions. Those are the folks who get talked to by the media. Now, there's a couple of good reasons for that. The producer theoretically kind of has the 30,000-foot overview of everything that's going on in the game. So you want a quick discussion about whatever the game is, talk to the producer. They're usually also kind of outgoing, people oriented types, kind of social. They talk well to the media. Same goes for kind of designers. You want somebody to talk about the narrative, about the overall structure of the game, you go talk to the designer. You talk about the story, you go talk to the writer. You want to talk about the pretty art, you go talk to the lead artist. You want to talk about the back-end code that makes everything run. Well, most of your audience falls asleep, so nobody talks to the programmer. Just while the programmers usually end up staying at home. So there's good reasons why the people show up at the conventions or show up at the conventions. And since I was QA, by and large, QA doesn't get sent to a convention on company money unless they need some peons to run things in the background, and even then they usually send people from the social team because, let's be honest, at least in my experience when I was QA in game development, most QA people aren't that well socially adjusted. The ones who are usually transition over to production or to social media type stuff. So there's a good reason why my people don't get sent to QA or don't get sent on trips very much in game dev. The other thing is training. Well, when I was at Monolith, QA didn't get any training. You want, what is training for QA? Now, out here in the business world, it turns out there's actually a lot of good certifications that QA can get that can help further your career, but at least when I was doing it in game dev, nobody had a frickin' clue what those were, so nobody got those, and nobody got sent to those. Programmers got sent to cool programmer conference junkets, and artists got sent to cool art things. QA didn't go anywhere. But again, that also goes to the fact that in video games, QA is largely totally expendable, because if your QA people start getting uppity, well, they're pretty easily replaced by a bunch of other young 20-somethings who just want to play video games for a living. That's just kind of the way it is. So that whole rant to say this is basically why I never went anywhere when I was a game developer. Now here I am, not a game developer, working for a company that doesn't do games, and they actually care about training their people. So here I am off-site somewhere else doing training with some other members of my team who are local to this area. We're all doing training together. Things go well. Hopefully, I actually might get to go to a conference later this year too, get another certification. That'd be cool. But yeah, all that to say, it's nice to work for a company that actually cares about employees and employee development, which is not something that ever happened when I was a game developer. And so I guess if I'm going to turn this into a little bit of career advice for would-be people trying to get into game development via the QA route, it would basically just be go look up ASTQB, that's the American Software Testing Quality Board. Go look up some of the QA certifications. They have scholarships for people whose companies are too cheap to send them, or if you happen to be a contractor like I was for a good while, where your contract agency doesn't give a shit about you beyond your current contract, I don't care what they say, they're lying if they say they actually care about you beyond your current contract. And the company you're contracting with guaranteed doesn't give a shit about you beyond how long they can use you for your current contract. Anyway, go look up a STQB. There's a couple of different QA certification bodies. Go look them up. They have a lot of good tests. They have a lot of good skills. Skill up. It's surprisingly reasonable. And if you do happen to be in QA and game dev, budget some of that crunch time money to get that certification. I'm not saying get the hell out of game dev QA, because I liked game dev QA for most of the time I was in it. It was fun. But, either when you're ready to get out, or if you want to make a better case for why your next gig or why your next promotion should pay you better, start getting some certifications. That's some of the best advice I can give to anybody in QA, in game dev right now. Start getting certs. Start look after your own career development, because I guarantee no one else is going to. All right, that's it till next week. Take care, everybody. Until next time, remember, keep your knees in the breeze and the shiny side up. Bye, folks. Hey, folks. Aaron here. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and you want more, please hit the subscribe button, like it, all that stuff, and don't forget the alerts for when I post new videos. New videos go up every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 a.m. Central. Vlogs and gaming content. You can also find me at my blog, stickstoriesscotch.blogspot.com, my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/shadowcaster, and a lot of other writing over on Mariner's Rock. Hope you'll be back next time. Until then, remember, keep your knees in the breeze and the shiny side up. And now, I gotta ride.